The choice is on you. Are you going to be a student of life? Are you going to be a student of the world that we live in day to day? Or are you going to be stuck in your ways, live under a rock, and be confused as hell for the rest of your life? The choice is on you. It's your time to decide. Yo, YouTube, welcome back to another one, striving to be great. And we are here back on day 5 of the 30-day challenge. I'm excited. I hope y'all are, because y'all are witnessing greatness and you can be a part of this. You can be doing the same thing. I set this goal to do 30 days straight of content posting on YouTube. And guess what? We're on day 5. We're making it happen. We are setting these goals, reaching these goals, accomplishing great things. It's the new year. 2025 is the year that we win. It's the year that you will win. It's the year that I will win. It's the year that we will win. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in like always. And if you're new, welcome. If you've been rocking out, welcome back. Keep tuning in. I'm holding you accountable. You're holding me accountable. And we are making this happen. Let's get it. All right, y'all. So for today, we're going to talk about the importance of being a student to life. Not only school, but to life. So let's get right into it. So a lot of times we often think that, being a student and learning new things only comes from being in school. But newsflash, no. The way the world is evolving, the way things are changing, the way times are changing, the way these kids are changing, the way these adults are changing. If you're not a student of what's going on in life, you will fail. You will be lost. You will be confused. You will be outdated. You will need someone to come and rewire your brain again. You will need your brain software to go through another update because things are changing so fast. Things are evolving so fast. And things are just completely not the same as they were yesterday, not the same as they were last week, not the same as they were last year. So, and the reason why this is so important is because no matter what you're doing, things are constantly changing. And if you're not accustomed or adapting to how things are being, you will be left behind. And this will affect all aspects of your life. When we think about things of just from like a career aspect, whatever you're aspiring to be right now, whether it's an artist, whether it's a chef, whether it's anything you name, the way that things are being, made, there's so many different ways to get things done now with being more efficient. And, if you're not adapting to these things, you're going to be left behind. At one point in life, to figure out information, you had to read a book. So all the information you need was in a book. If you didn't read, you wasn't getting the knowledge. So we talk about today's world. Things have evolved. Now, there's so many ways of gaining knowledge now. Obviously, you can still read, but now we have access to the internet to make things a lot more convenient for us and for everyone around us. So if you're trying to figure out, a recipe, you're trying to figure out how to say a certain word in a different language, that's one click away. Literally, it's so easy to find information now. If you're the type of person that doesn't like to always read, they got videos. So not only is it easy for you to figure out, but there's so many different ways to still, figure out what you need. But if you're not adapting to the times, you're not going to know. So if you're not tech savvy, you're not going to know how to use the internet. This is why it's important to be a student of the game. You may be one of those people that can learn easy by watching things like me. Like sometimes, or when it comes to learning things, if you can show me how it is, if I can physically see it, I'll be able to do it. Sometimes just reading on paper is not the best way I can, learn certain things. But if I see it visually, I'll be able to do it and have it down packed. I have like a photographic memory when it comes to certain things like that. So for me, I'm best learning is visually. And if I need to figure out how to, put something together versus reading the instructions so I could watch somebody do it on a video, that's the conveniency right there. But it wasn't always like that. Like I said, figuring out information, technology did not always exist. And this is the point I'm trying to make. If you're always becoming a student of the game, you will learn these things and understand these things. If you're someone that was born, way back and you're not used to the internet, that's a problem for you. If you're not tech savvy, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be harder for you to figure out things. It's going to be harder for you to, just adapt with the times. Even when you think about, figuring out the address of something, the GPS, the way things have adapted is crazy. Like, you can literally type in an address on your phone. It'll give you the exact location you need and the route you need to get to this location. Before, you just had to print out instructions, or you had to print out directions and follow directions on a piece of paper. But you see, things have changed. And this is why it's important to be a student of life, because with these changes, you can create more conveniency within your life. Like I said, if I wasn't the best learner by just reading things I'm more visual, this is the time for me to really benefit from things. If I had to go to a certain location, I don't always have to just read from a piece of paper now. I can literally search in the address on my phone and follow a map guide. So for me, the GPS maps is it's something I can benefit from now because I adapted to the times, obviously, and I'm a visual learner. So I can literally see on the maps where I need to go, and it would be a lot easier for me versus saying, reading a piece of directions off paper that say, take a left on Adams Street, then take a right about 400 feet, then take a left about 300 feet, then take a U-turn, Like, that's the point I'm trying to make. This is why it's important to be a student and be able to adapt. When we talk about swag, you look at the way people dressed in 2000s, the way people dressed in the 90s, and the way people are dressing now. It's completely different. But don't get me wrong, obviously trends come and go. People's swag are different. They're really expressing how they feel through, art, like the way they dress, the things they put on their head, the things they put on their clothes, as far as clothes, their shoes. That's all a form of art. They're just expressing yourself. However, when it comes to really staying up to date, back in the 2000s, let's say for example, there was obviously the swag was completely different to how it is now. If you was about 5'4", you would be okay with wearing a 5X t-shirt, a big 5X white tee, or a big 5X black tee. That was the swag. That was the norm. You wouldn't be bullied for wearing clothes all big. The jumbo jeans, the oversized pants. Like, that was the swag at one point. But I guarantee you now, if you have that same type of swag, wearing shirts that are 5 times bigger than you right now, you get laughed at. That's the reality. I mean, unless you're, dressing for a themed play or dressing for a holiday type of event, then, you might get laughed at. But why? Because that style is not in right now. And if you became a student and adapt to the times, you would understand that. You would know what's going on. You'd be able to see the trend. You'd be able to see what's more swaggy or, what's more up to par with the whole just apparel era now, like just the whole apparel. But this is just a small example of what I mean by being a student of life. Because when you're a student, you're constantly learning, you're understanding, and you're seeing what's going on. Don't be that person under the rock that don't know what's going on, because things are going to keep going. It's only going to get better and better and better. And if you're not becoming a student of life, you will be lost. You will not gain any benefits from this. So don't be afraid to learn something. Don't be afraid to take advice. And don't think just because you're older than somebody, you can't take advice from them. I take advice for everybody, even babies, toddlers, because they got a good sense of things. They can definitely steer you in the right directions if you use the context clues correctly. And y'all may laugh at this, but I'm serious. The one thing about a kid, they ain't gonna lie to you. These kids nowadays are honest as heck. If you talking to them and your breath stink, best believe they gonna let you know. Because a lot of times you may be talking to an adult and your breath stink, and they may not let you know. We're just in a different era now of things. Everybody's not as honest, but you may have a full conversation with someone that thinks your breath stinks, but won't even let you know. But that kid will. As we get back to, just the basics of being a student of life, don't be afraid to learn new things, or don't be afraid to adapt and just understand what's going on. Because like I said, the more you're aware of things, the better you can benefit, because there's so many different ways to doing things now. It's not just one dimensional with stuff now. There's so many ways you can figure out how to do stuff, no matter what it is. Find this information. There's so many ways now. Through books, ebooks, audiobooks, YouTube, TikTok. There's so many different sources where you can figure out how to do things. But you have to be accustomed to it. You have to adapt to these times. That's the only way. And my point to you all is just being able to get you to understand that, the more you know or the more you're aware, the better your life will be. Even now with the conveniency, it's so much conveniency now. Before, if you wanted to take a ride somewhere or you needed a ride to go to another part of the town, back then you'd have to take a taxi. But now there's so much convenience. Now we have Uber, Lyft. Obviously, the buses and the trains start running now, but an Uber or a Lyft ride can have so many benefits for you. Maybe you want to get to your destination without having so many other people around you. You know, you can do that. You can pay for the convenience of that. You can pay for someone to drive you to your destination without worrying about a huge population of people that's coming from all parts of the world. 'Cause when you get on the train, when you get on the MBTA, the bus, everybody knows how that goes. You're dealing with odors, you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with kids, loud people, disrespectful people, you know, the list goes on. Leftover food, debris, it goes on. Disrespectful teenagers, like it's the list goes on when you're out and about in the public with transportation. And if you need that conveniency now, you know, you like I said, you have Uber and Lyft where you don't have to worry about any of that. And yeah, there's the convenience fee for that, but it's convenient. And if, like I said, this all comes from adaptation. If you're not used to technology, if you don't know how to use your phone, then you're not gonna know how to call an Uber ride, or you're not gonna know how to get inside of a Lyft. And this is what I mean by just being able to adapt with times. Things are constantly changing, and you have to be a student. If you don't, I mean, it's no pressure, but you will be lost. Convenience is at its finest now with everything. Everything you could think of is some type of convenience to it now. There's an improved way of doing things. And believe it or not, you know, not everybody is tech savvy. Not everybody wants to figure out the new things. But this is why there's a lot more people confused than know what's going on. And this is why the world is separated from the low class, the middle class, and the high class. And then there's a difference between the normal people and that 1% of successful people. Those are the people that are figuring out things, being innovators, being, you know, learning new things, and staying on top of stuff, you know, being proactive with everything. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's to each his own. But what I'm trying to get you all to understand is there's conveniency and real life benefits to being a student of life. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, there's so many different ways you could apply this information to as just being a student, whether it's for advice in life, with a relationship, friend, a situationship, you know, a cooking recipe, trying to figure out how to put something together, putting together a gaming chair, putting together a bed frame, putting together a table, you know, anything. There's just so many ways now to figuring out how to get this stuff done, and it's conveniency to it. But you only benefit from that if you're staying up to date with society and how things are evolving. If you don't have an iPhone, if you don't have a smartphone, then it's not going to benefit from you. You're not going to have any real benefits to this. Maximize the things that's going on, understand what's going on, and adapt. Because like I said, if you don't, you'll be left behind. The more you stay behind, the harder it's going to be for you to reap any real benefits to the world. Because the world doesn't stop. It keeps going. So technology is going to keep evolving. Things are going to keep evolving. Things are going to keep getting better. It's going to be more efficiency. Like, it's just keep getting better. Even with cars now. Pretty soon, there won't be no more cars that, you know, take gas. It's going to be all electric. And at one point, there was no electric cars. It was all cars with gas. But Tesla's taking over. You know, it's changing the game. And, you know, you just have to be aware of that. Like I said, be a student and understand that, you know, things are changing, and you gotta do your homework and be a student. Don't ever think you're too good. Don't ever feel like someone's too young to give you information that you can benefit from. Be open-minded to people that are younger than you, because at the end of the day, age is nothing but a number, but experience is everything. There may be someone that may be 5, 6, 7 years younger than you that may have more experience than you in a certain field that you can really benefit from. Just because you're older than somebody does not mean that you've mastered something or you have more knowledge than them, because everybody's experience is different in life. The more you understand that, the better you'll be with just learning new things and really seeing how things are. But you got to be open-minded and you got to be a student. Don't sell yourself short. At the end of the day, my main message is letting you guys know that, you know, it's important to be a student. Don't ever feel like you're too good to take information or to learn new things just because you're older than somebody. Age is definitely just a number, but experience is more than any of that. You can't put a price tag on, or you can't put an age limit on experience. And the more you figure out, or the more you're open to just learning new things, the better you can benefit in this world. Because the world's not stopping for nobody, And you got to understand that if you don't adapt, you're going to be lost. You're going to be confused. You're going to need a lot more guidance than you ever would because of how things are just constantly changing. If you're not as tech savvy as you need to be, take a few minutes a day to learn that. It's not hard. Figure out. Make sure you know how to use your phone. So many benefits within having a phone if you use it correctly. But you have to be a student. You can set reminders on your phone. You can, you don't have to, before there was just alarm clocks. If you had to be on time for something, there was just a regular alarm clock. But now you have a cell phone where you can set timers, you can set alarms, you can set multiple alarms to help you get up early. And not only is it just a ring, but you can obviously you can customize your ringtone to it. If you want to put music to wake up to some music as your alarm clock, you can do that now. There's more conveniency within waking up to an alarm clock now, other than just a annoying, ringing noise. This all comes from, adapting and learning how to do things, because there's a certain skill set you have to be able to utilize a smartphone. I know this may seem very simple, but believe it or not, a lot of people are a lot more lost than you think. They don't understand as much as you think. For the most part, they all living under a rock, and there's nothing you can do about it. It happens. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. But this is just really one of those videos to get you to understand and just open your mind to understand that you got to be a student. As long as you're living, you got to constantly be a student to everything, to relationships, to people, to everything. You have to be a student. You got to constantly be learning. There's no stopping, because things are always evolving. And like I said, if you don't choose to learn anything, or you feel like you want to be stagnant and just stick to your ways are going to be outdated very fast, and it's going to be hard for you to get around. It's going to be hard for you to do certain things, because those same old ways may not work anymore. Things are evolving. Don't be afraid to learn. Continue being a student to everything in life, and I promise you'll find so much benefits to it. Sometimes people need to hear about themselves from other people. It's easy for you as a person to just kind of, say what you think you know about yourself versus hearing it from somebody else, because you're going to always see things from one perspective, and then the person outside of you, or the people that are always going to see you from a different lens than you may see yourself, for the most part. Or there just may be things that they missed. There may be things that they caught on to you that you haven't caught on to yourself, because it's you. Just from seeing things from a different perspective. But if you're a student to that, if you're a student to, just learning about yourself from other people, you can become a better person. Maybe there's flaws in you that, you don't necessarily pick on because it's just you. But someone from the outside looking in can tell you about that and can help you out. If you become a student, if you're a student of life, if you're a student of information, if you're a student to your well-being, you can benefit from that. But if you're stuck in your ways and you're too good to take any type of advice from anybody, then hey, it's on you. You lost your chance to grow. You lost your chance to be a better person. That only hurts you. Doesn't hurt nobody else. Because if it's one of those traits that's very bad, you'll start losing friends. Nobody want to deal with you no more. But hey, it's your life. It's how you want to do it. It's how you want to live. But like I said, just be a student to everything. Be open. Don't be closed-minded at all. Because there's always something to learn. You can always learn from something. Or even just hearing a different perspective on something that you may catch up on and say, damn, and you really might learn something. Because you can be doing things, the end goal can be the same, but there's different ways to do it. You may be doing something that you feel is the best way for you, but then you might find out that there's a better way, a more efficient way that takes less energy for you to get the job done. And if you're not open to that, then you'll never know. You'll be working a lot harder than you should. But in all reality, you want to work smarter, not harder. To each his own. It's your life. There's two sides to this. Being a student and not being a student. Either you're going to learn and evolve, or you're going to stay stagnant and live under a rock, because there's benefits to both. The choice is on you. So are you going to be a student of the game? Are you going to be a student of life? Are you going to be a student of the world that we live in day to day? Or are you going to be stuck in your ways, live under a rock, and be confused as hell for the rest of your life? The choice is on you. It's your time to decide. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, for wrapping it up with me for the 5th day of the 30-day challenge. We are still locked and loaded. We currently have 5 new videos out back to back, day to day, with new content. So like I said, if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the vibes. Welcome to the good spot. Welcome to the place where you can learn and really stimulate your mind. Because my whole page is about getting better, thinking better, moving better, making you reevaluate things, making you think about things that may go over your head, to overall improve you as a person, as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend, as a mother, as a father, as a son, as a niece, as a nephew. The list goes on. But this page is about evolving and, just being a better person and seeing the brighter side of things, even when negativity occurs your way. But we're going to wrap this up for day 5. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. If you like this video, let me know down in the comments. We are on the road to 500 subscribers and counting. That's just the start. We're going to get them YouTube plaques too. The silver, the gold, everything else. We're coming for everything YouTube has to offer. Monetization is on its way. It's on its way. So make sure y'all tuning in and, y'all staying in tune with what's going on. If y'all have any questions, let me know. All my social media links are down listed below. If you have any questions, let me know what's going on. I'm here. We can talk about it, make a video. We can chat about it, whatever you want to do. I'm here. All right. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's a pleasure being able to give y'all this information. I hope you all found some value within this information. And, I'm going to holler at y'all. I'm going to see y'all in the next video with day 6. Let's continue getting better. 2025 is our year to win. It's the year for me to win, and it's the year for you to win. Let's get right to it. It's your boy Big Sitchy. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. See y'all in the next episode for episode 6. Peace.